These stories are inspired by the actual case files of the Office of Scientific Investigation and Research.
Satellite tracking and local radar look good. Sky's clear in your area.
We'll rendezvous in 20 minutes.
I'll let you know if anyone unfriendly gets too close.
They'll find me again!
It's okay. We'll be at the lab in 15 minutes.
I can feel it.
Guys, I got a bogey heading in your direction. Direct intercept course.
Range.
40 clicks and moving fast. He's moving real fast.
Ray?
He's right on top of you.
They're here!
Damn. Is everybody okay?
What the hell was that?
Oh my God. Matt? She's gone.
The disappearance of Rebecca Fellows defies conventional explanation. Her vanishing triggers a battle between skeptics and those who, through scientific evidence, come to affirm the real possibility of UFO abductions. As case manager Matthew Prager and his team discover, proving the case for the paranormal would become more important than ever before.
We'll find her, Matt.
We already did. We're gonna make this right. Pete, triangulate the course of the UFO.
Already in progress.
Lindsay, you and Ray go back to the warehouse, see if we missed anything.
Right.
There's no need for that. You're no longer on the case.
What?
Effective immediately, this team is suspended from active duty. There's to be an inquest into your activities.
What the hell are you talking about, Frank?
With the disappearance of Rebecca Fellows, the board of directors has lost faith in you. Clear your calendars.
Where do you fit into this inquest, Frank? Prosecution or defense?
Neither. This comes directly from the board itself. As a matter of fact, I've been sent to Europe to head a special investigation. No doubt it's to keep me out of the way.
So you'll miss the circus. Convenient.
Be warned, Matthew, there are a lot of very powerful people who could think of nothing better than to see you and your team disappear.
Same old song.
Just be careful.
tell me they're after you too, Curtis.
Not exactly. I've been chosen to act as advocate for yourself, Peter, Anton, and Lindsay.
Since when are you Alan Dershowitz?
Cornell Law, 84. Defending criminals just didn't seem as exciting as chasing aliens. Someone on the board must have dusted out my resume. Matt, they've brought in some heavy hitters for this inquest.
We three kings of Orient are.
Edward Nordstrom, senior analyst for the National Intelligence Agency. Henry Thomas Langstaff, military attaché to the UN Security Council. And finally, Gertrude DeWolf, CEO of a covert think tank attached to NATO. Players like these don't come out of the shadows very often. You must have pissed off some powerful people.
Lucky me.
Sorry for the delay, Your Honors. Calvin Finch, independent counsel.
Curtis Rollins representing Matthew Prager and his co-defendants.
Thank you, gentlemen. This hearing will adhere to guidelines of international law. As in accordance with civil code proceedings, there is no presumption of innocence. It's up to the defending counsel to disprove the guilt of Mr. Prager and his team.
I understand, Your Honor.
We're convened here today to investigate charges of negligence in the misuse of resources by Mr. Prager and his team, specifically relating to the team's handling of so-called close encounter case files, those files which detail possible encounters with alien life forms. We suspect they may even have been playing upon the paranoia of the public in order to cover up another agenda. This panel is to submit a disciplinary recommendation to the full board of directors immediately following this hearing.
Damn it. After all these years.
We're out in the cold.
Sounds like the wheels of change are turning.
We have to find out why this is happening.
Not to mention what happened to Rebecca Fellows.
Without our tracking software and GPS systems, good luck.
Well, I don't need a computer to get information. We'll do it the old-fashioned way.
What did happen to Alan Tremblay? And Rebecca Fellows? And Juan Mendoza? And a dozen others who've conveniently gone missing thanks to the efforts of Mr. Prager and his team. These people have families who want answers. Namely, what caused their deaths or disappearances? Could it have been avoided? And most importantly, who is responsible? If Mr. Prager and his team have but one duty to live up to, it is to provide answers to these questions. Now, Mr. Rollins would have you believe that Mr. Prager and his team are not responsible for these tragedies. No, he will tell you that Mr. Prager and his team encountered otherworldly forces, UFOs, aliens, extraterrestrials with amazing powers. But there is no definitive proof of alien existence. Mr. Prager and the others cannot pawn off their responsibility. Aliens? I don't think so. Negligence. Wasting of precious resources. Chasing fantasies? Yes. Mr. Prager and his team have much to answer for.
Mr. Rollins?
Thank you, Your Honor. In my 12 years as a case manager with the OSIR, I can safely say I have seen many amazing things. Things that science cannot rationally explain. Things which push the boundaries of what we know to be fact. Matthew Prager and his team have always had one priority above all else: the safety of human life. Their job is to help people, to help them understand what they're going through, to deal with the psychological enormities of the unexplained. For someone under the protection of Matt Prager's team to be harmed or killed can only mean one thing: that there were elements at work beyond human control. We will prove two things here. One, that this team has come in contact with alien life. And two, that the defendants did everything humanly possible to protect every experiencer with whom they came in contact. Thank you.
When can we get back into Central Lab?
We can't.
What prompted this inquest?
Rebecca's uncle's an ambassador to the UN. When she disappeared, he made some calls and we're on trial.
How bad can this hurt us?
We lose big. What about this Finch guy? What's his story?
Calvin Finch. According to my contacts, he graduated Harvard Law, studied political science at Oxford. He has been a high-level government lobbyist for several years, and he has the ear of every political leader in the UN.
And a $200 haircut.
I guess we should all start learning how to make mochaccino grandies. I'll be working at Starbucks next week.
They haven't got a case.
Don't they? People have died under our supervision.
Due to things beyond our control.
We prove the existence of aliens, and we're off the hook, right? I mean, we all know what we've seen.
Nice plan. Except their case just got uglier.
Criminal charges?
Oh, this is insane.
Finch is recommending that the evidence be turned over to the local authorities immediately following the inquest.
I can't do this!
Peter. Hey, are you all right?
I don't react well to seeing my career go up in flames.
Hey, take it easy.
Peter.
You okay?
Yeah.
Dr. Hendricks, tell us more about Alan Tremblay. You mentioned he could communicate with plants and other forms of life.
Yes.
How did he come to be this way?
We believe he had been altered, somehow made more attuned to organic life forms. He was then able to commune with these life forms, manipulating them at a cellular level.
All this because of his alien encounter.
Yes.
He was dying one moment and then perfectly healthy the next.
Exactly.
He's still flatlining.
300.
Standing by.
Charge. Clear. We're losing him. Adrenaline, quickly.
Ready with the epinephrine. 1 mil.
All right. Adrenaline hit in 3, 2.
Wait!
Whatever it was that altered Tremblay somehow repaired the damage to his brain. Now, there's no known medical reason to account for his recovery.
Dr. Hendricks, I'd like to refer to a different, yet equally relevant case. File number 267210. You'd been called in to investigate the death of a soldier during a routine military exercise.
Yes, but it was anything but routine.
I see.
Sulfur dioxide. It's got it.
It was obvious that an alien contact had been made.
Alien contact did this to Captain Hastings?
The heat that disintegrated his body was so intense it left almost no bone fragments.
And yet, his dog tags remained intact.
Yes.
So there is no known biological weapon capable of doing this to the human body, but leaving metal unharmed.
Not to my knowledge.
No further questions.
Mr. Finch? Nothing at this time, Your Honors. I do reserve the right to recall this witness.
I just wish there was a scoreboard.
Curtis knows his way around a courtroom.
I heard Finch hasn't even cross-examined a witness yet. Maybe he's not prepared.
Not likely. He's just getting warmed up.
Have a little faith. You know, we're the good guys, remember?
I don't know. Maybe we are guilty of what they're accusing us. Wasting money that could be used to fund legitimate science projects.
Like a legit research you've been doing on the side for Elsinger?
Come on, you two. I mean, maybe we are responsible to a certain extent. But at least we're out there asking the questions that no one else will. I mean, that's why we took this job, isn't it?
Ms. Donner, tell me about the Halifax experiences.
They needed our help. Everyone else had rejected them. We did everything we could to understand their obsession and to help them deal with their pain.
Their obsession, as you call it, was to construct this.
All three experiencers were driven by the same compulsion, and that was to build a part of the structure. Each of the three pieces fit perfectly together. In the end, the choice to meet their unfortunate fate was their own.
You saw them disappear.
Yes. Something hit the sundial. A beam of energy was triggered by the eclipse, and when the light dissipated, they were gone.
Without a trace.
Not a day goes by where I don't think about them.
Thank you, Miss Donner. Your witness.
Ms. Donner, you said these three experiencers, as you called them, they were compelled by some alien force?
That's right.
And that's what their psychological assessment pointed to?
They were all obsessed with the same thing. All the data correlates that. There were similar accounts.
Yes, but I didn't realize psychological assessments fell under the expertise of a simple data analyst like yourself. Wouldn't that be Dr. Hendricks' department?
Perhaps. But we were all trained...
Thank you, Ms. Donner. No further questions at this time, Your Honors.
I remember this. This was planted in Juan Mendoza's mouth. It was giving him such bad headaches he had to pull it himself.
Is it a normal tooth, Professor Axon?
No, far from it.
Information overload. Processor couldn't handle it.
I ran a complete spectrum of metallurgy and chemical tests on the chip that we found embedded in the tooth.
And the results?
It's made of an inorganic substance that I couldn't identify. It's an element unknown to mankind.
Peter?
Professor Axon, do you need a break?
Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. No, I'm fine. Let's just keep going.
It's all right. I'm done here anyway.
Mr. Finch?
Nothing at this time.
Mr. Finch, you are planning to challenge Mr. Rollins' case?
Absolutely, Your Honor.
Oh, Pete, you don't look so good.
I'm just fighting a bug.
Listen, are you all right? You sure?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Well, how'd it go in there?
I told him about every damn UFO case we worked on. Finch looks like he's on vacation.
Matt, ready for you.
Wish me luck.
I gotta go pass out.
Mr. Prager, do you believe in angels? How about unicorns? Leprechauns? Try and help me out here, man. How about aliens?
Yeah. Yes, I'd have to say I do.
Case file number 669207. You went through something extraordinary.
I was abducted. I was replaced by a clone.
A little louder, Mr. Prager?
I was replaced by a clone.
The print on the left. This is from Matt's original file. Now, the whirls run clockwise. This is what's being projected right now. The whirls run counterclockwise. Two different people.
Fingerprints that close sometimes occur in identical twins. Or there's another possibility.
I am a clone.
Using these?
Apparently those discs were used to transport people back and forth to the alien ship, including myself. Makes for great science fiction, doesn't it? Except that it's true.
What happened to the clone?
I don't know, we couldn't exist in the same place, I guess. Look, I'm as big a skeptic as anyone here. But what happened to me was real.
Thank you, Mr. Prager.
Not so fast there, Mr. Prager. I have a few questions I'd like to ask. Now, you claim these aliens abducted you and took you to their ship.
Yeah, that's right.
They read your mind, saw your past, and replaced you with a clone. An exact duplicate of yourself here on Earth.
That's what I said.
I see. At this time, I'd like to draw the Tribunal's attention to Mr. Prager's psychological profile and history. In it, you will find Mr. Prager's history of clinical depression, manic mood swings, and dated March of last year, his institutionalization due to the shooting death of an adolescent.
Your Honor...
Your Honors, Mr. Prager was absolved of that crime.
Agreed. But this goes to the witness's credibility, both in the field and before this tribunal. When the going got tough, he snapped.
It was an accident!
Mr. Prager, that is enough.
I suggest we take a short recess. Continue once tempers have cooled.
Actually, Your Honors, I'm done with this witness. For the moment.
Nice cross on Prager back there.
Thanks.
About time you started to use those knives you've been sharpening.
Well, that's all about pace, Ed. Lull them into a false sense of security.
Yeah, well, just don't get too cocky. Rollins is holding his own.
I'm not worried. He went to Cornell.
Well, maybe you should be worried. You have to completely discredit them. Do you understand that? Ruin their careers, their reputations beyond redemption.
When I'm done with Prager and his team, no one will ever trust them again.
You do your job, and you can name your next posting. Security Council, NATO, Senate seat. Take your pick.
How about all of the above?
Just don't lose.
Mr. Donahue, where is Rebecca Fellows?
I don't know.
Oh, that's right. She disappeared. Now, as the team's security coordinator, what did you do to ensure her safety?
I took the usual precautions.
So you had your security operatives surrounding the event site? Do you understand the question?
I understand you fine.
Good. What precautions did you put in place?
Answer the question.
I had no backup security operatives.
Why not?
Because Matt felt any additional personnel would frighten the girl.
Or maybe help save her.
Your Honors.
Move on, Mr. Finch.
Where were you when Alan Tremblay disappeared?
Alan Tremblay?
He was accused of murder, potentially dangerous. Where were you?
At the mobile lab. Matt said he and Pete could handle it better.
If you weren't there. Thank you, Mr. Donahue. So, before he took off on the mothership, Alan Tremblay was healed by aliens?
I didn't say that. I explained that due to the encounter, certain changes were fostered within his body. As a result, he was able to repair...
Oh, come on, Dr. Hendricks. He was flatlining.
He's in cardiac arrest.
And then something saved his life. What about the healing power of the human spirit?
No, you've taken me completely out of context.
And what context is that? I mean, you claim that aliens are responsible for everything. A man suddenly recovers from a brain aneurysm. Aliens. Someone disintegrates into ash. Must be aliens again. Doctor, this isn't proof of anything. Tell me something, wasn't the military testing a new weapon at that site?
Yes, but...
Then isn't it entirely possible that Captain Hastings simply got in the way? And maybe you just couldn't find out the truth. Dr. Hendricks, you're a trained psychiatrist. If a patient came to you and described the things you just told me about, wouldn't you classify him as delusional?
That's enough.
Doctor,
Yes, if that patient walked in off the street. But I know there are documented alien abduction cases.
Based on your experiences?
Yes.
Out of all of these disappearances, was there anyone your team managed to retrieve?
No.
What about your wife, Catherine Hendricks?
That's an entirely different matter.
Well, she disappeared in a car accident, followed by a bright light of unknown origin. Smells like alien abduction to me. Perhaps we should bring her in and let her speak for herself.
No, Mr. Finch, you cannot afford to relive those experiences.
Is that your professional assessment, Dr. Hendricks?
Unbelievable.
It's that bad, huh?
He questioned my professionalism. He even implied that Catherine should be institutionalized.
Anton, we'll get through this.
Lindsay, don't let him get to you.
Five people, Ms. Donner. 5. All of them either died or disappeared under your care.
No, that's not true.
Isn't it? Fine, then I'll start with case file number 669207, the case in which Mr. Prager was allegedly cloned. Did you find any evidence of alien existence?
Hendricks and Donahue did. 12 metallic discs.
Is that all?
No. We had 2 abductees.
How could you tell?
They were not themselves. There was evidence of subtle physiological differences.
But still, weren't they relying on you for protection? To help them understand what they had gone through up there on the mothership?
They were clones, replicas of their former selves.
Just like Matt. Well, I say, prove it. Find me a clone. Parade it around the room. Because until you do, Ms. Donner, this theory of yours is just a way of absolving yourself of their deaths.
They killed themselves. And there was nothing that I could do.
Your play.
You know?
Yeah, I know.
You see what I mean? What are they on?
Their blood tests were clean. It's as if they're suffering from severe depression.
I think it's worse than that.
Are you okay?
Anton, look out!
Good Lord! Put as much pressure on the wound as you can. All right, we gotta get him out to the field so the chopper can pick him up. Axon, can you hear this? Damn it! What's the ETA of the medevac?
You stood by and watched them die.
It wasn't like that.
Senator Jillian Bradbury, Juan Mendoza, Joe Hempworth, all gone. Alan Tremblay, gone. Rebecca Fellows, gone. Everyone you try to help disappears. Tell me something, Ms. Donner. How do you sleep at night?
Look, all I'm asking for is some time. One of the defendants is ill. We just want to find out why.
Your Honor, it's obvious the defense is simply stalling. I'll excuse Professor Axon from any further testimony.
What about the truth? Isn't that what this whole inquest is supposed to be about?
I'm afraid we must proceed, Mr. Rollins, though your objection is noted. Mr. Finch.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Prager, you are still under oath.
Understand.
Mr. Prager, I'll cut to the chase. How many people have died under your supervision? 1? 2, 3, maybe? Try 12. 12 men and women working with your team, all dead. Harrison Sheffield, 2 men in Chesapeake Sound, and Jennifer Huxley, a journalist and I believe your ex-wife. Dead because of your reckless disregard for her safety.
Son of a bitch!
Order! Order, Mr. Prager!
No!
Order, Mr. Prager, order! Mr. Prager, order here! Mr. Prager!
This is a joke! This isn't about the truth.
Order!
Somebody just wants us gone!
Order here! Mr. Prager, sit down! We will have order here!
So if I go to sleep...
Not until I find out what's wrong with you. How's the hand?
Hurts like hell.
Really? Let me have a look. My God. Your hand's completely infected.
Give me some pills. I just want to sleep.
He was passed out in the can?
Sick as a dog, mumbling about God knows what.
He says he's disinfected the cut.
And how did it spread so quickly?
I don't know. I'll have to run some tests.
Peter. 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 Peter, they need your help. They need your help. Peter.
It's the waiting that'll kill you, not the aliens. I'd start typing up a current resume if I were you guys. Anybody need a reference?
Come on, Matt, it's not over yet.
Finch made us look like fools in there. Well, I guess this is the last time we'll be sitting around this table as co-workers.
Chasing ghosts and little green men all over the country. Maybe it is time we folded our tents.
Yes. All right. It's time.
Sorry about your hand. But we needed a way to contact you. The plant. He used the plant to put those images in my head. It was the only way to make you understand. The threat is too great. When they took Rebecca, we needed to do something. Who took Rebecca? The others. The gray men, as you call them. They took Rebecca to discredit you and your friends. Without you to stand in their way, they will take this world. Bit by bit. Piece by piece. How about you? My race means you no harm. We're scientists like you. But the gray men want power. You must stop them. How? You already have the knowledge you need.
We will now make our ruling as to the charges of negligence in the misuse of OSIR resources by...
I have something I need to say.
Mr. Prager, please. This inquest no longer requires your testimony.
Let me speak, please.
Go ahead, Mr. Prager.
When I first signed on with this team, I was, to put it mildly, a skeptic. I still am, I suppose. But in the past 2 years, I've learned this much. The people I work with are trying to uncover the great mysteries. They scientifically challenge things most people deny or ignore. Now, I accept responsibility for the people who died. I was in charge. Remove me from the OSIR. But let the others continue their work. There's so much more out there to know. Thank you.
we find Matthew Prager, Anton Hendricks, Peter Axon, and Lindsay Donner guilty.
Wait! I'm sorry, Professor Axon. The matter is closed.
The matter was never real, was it, Ed?
We recommend the immediate dismissal of the defendants. We also recommend the civil and federal authorities pursue criminal charges in these matters.
This tribunal was a setup. It was just an excuse to get rid of us. Because we were getting a little too close to the truth. Isn't that right, Ed?
Quit while you're ahead, Axon.
Let him finish.
No! This inquest is closed. You are all dismissed.
A clone and his counterpart can never exist in the same place at the same time.
You've won nothing here today. Just a little more time before the inevitable.
You're safe now, Mr. Nordstrom.
Where am I?
Rebecca? Welcome home.
Morning, everyone.
Nice work, Curtis.
Trying to soften the blow of your legal bill?
Actually, it's for Peter. Just arrived by courier.
This is a joke.
Congratulations on your first communion, Alan Trombley.
Case manager's final log. Rollins reporting. Mr. Finch has failed to file his appeal of the team's acquittal. It's all over. Rollins. Out.
Despite an abundance of photo and video evidence and numerous eyewitness accounts, UFO encounters continue to be dismissed as fantasy by the authorities. Is this the government and military covering up? And do extraterrestrials indeed have a vested interest in altering our consciousness? For Sci Factor, I'm Dan Aykroyd.